Mr. Kulu, has the FRSC ever asked that this particular law be interpreted for themselves?
They have never asked.
So the FRSC is also at fault for not asking that the law be interpreted for them?
I would say so, because
sorry if I may come in, looking at the act that saw the functions of the FRSC,
yes,
none of them, okay, they are supposed to prevent,
yes,
clear obstructions, educate drivers, design and produce licenses, determine time, determines limits and all of that.
Yes.
But none of these functions include, how do you say it now, being a judge and jury in their own cases.
No, let me have recourse to this position of the law. Strict liability offenses are offenses that are visited on the spot. Just like your colleague mentioned something about violation of environmental sanitation, and happily enough, the Federal Road Safety Commission have legal personnel that go on the field to work, and definitely you will see them. These legal personnel are there, people who are well experienced in the law. Some of them have been in practice for many years before they joined the commission. And so, just like the position we have with the federal environmental sanitation laws, the same position obtains with the Federal Road Safety Commission. And as a step, what they do is that they issue that notice of fine. It is left for the individual to go and pay and say, no, as a citizen of this country, I will not agree with it because I am adopting a defensive position. I did not commit this offense in the first place. They now go to court to state their case before the court and wait for the decision of the court.
Now, the issue of the notice of fine.
Yes.
Does that give the FRSC room to seize any documents, driver's license, or even impound the vehicle?
Their mode of operation within the confines of the Act gives them the authority. For instance, somebody is carrying a fake driver's license, and they are able to detect that on the spot. Strict liability offense.
Means to impound.
Is to impound.
Now, what if it's an original driver's license? Probably his tail lights are broken or he's not having a fire extinguisher. Do you seize his driver's license because you need him to go and pay the fine? Are you right to seize his driver's license?
Seizing the driver's license is one of the modes of enforcing the payment of the fine.
Do you enforce the payment of the fine when you have just given notice? Or you wait to see if the person will go and pay that fine before you enforce?
Definitely, once the notice of fine is issued, like I said earlier, different categories of alleged offenses and different fines attached to them. Once a notice is given and the individual elects to pay the fine, which is the mind of the commission, in order to achieve their goals, to ensure that traffic offenses are no more committed by road users. Their mind will be that once the notice of fine is issued and the individual pays, that will serve as a deterrent to that particular individual and then the next person who is aware of what has happened. But once the individual decides that he is not going to pay and he goes to court, he might call for the interpretation of the Act and ask for a definition of the scope of the powers of the commission.
Let me bring in some question here, and this is coming in from Dominic. He said, well, it's easier said than done, and he wants you to tell him how it can also benefit the motorists, knowing full well that it is always you against the FRSC official on the road. So when they go to court, how do we establish the fact of the matter the way it is?
Like I said, it would have been a better thing to do to ask for interpretation. Because today, as it is, considering that judgment that is being, the Olaniyan's judgment that is being tested on appeal, many Nigerians today we want to say that the FRC, even considering the enabling act, the act establishing the commission, the 2007 act, that the commission lacks the powers.
Isn't that what it is until we get the appeal, the outcome from the appeal?
Like we said, on one
As
hand,
it stands, as a lawyer, as it stands, there's a judgment that says FRSC lacks the powers to do that, and the commission has gone on an appeal. Pending the outcome of the appeal, is it right for the FRSC to continue in what the court has already proclaimed illegal for the commission?
in one breath, it is right, because the courts, as is stated that's the case of Williams versus FRC. That case was decided in favor of FRC. The court, in going further in giving the decision in favor of FRC, said that the courts cannot stop the FRC from performing their statutory functions. So as it is today, by reason of the fact that a decision has been given by a Federal High Court, and the Federal Road Safety Commission is not comfortable about the decision and have gone on appeal, because the powers under which they are operating, which is the Federal Road Safety Commission Establishment Act, is still in place. It is a federal law that has not been repealed. The functions, their powers and functions and the authority under which they have been operating will continue to thrive until the Court of Appeal and maybe further the Supreme Court decides otherwise. The fact that the decision has been given, if that decision has not been appealed against as it stands today, that would have been the position of the law. And every Nigerian can cash in on that and begin to do exactly what that judgment said.
You know, some people will say that the Federal Road Safety Corps has found a very tricky way to make money from Nigerians, and that's why they would choose, rather than have a mobile court where you can actually be tried and asked whether or not you're guilty, they choose to give you what they call a notice of fine, and many Nigerians don't know that that is actually contestable, so they just go ahead. They believe that they've just been fined by the FRSC, and they go ahead and they pay the fines. There is no room for contention there, except or apart from those who are learned and who know that, well, this is actually a notice and this is contestable in the court of law, or perhaps this is not the way we should go about it. Do you think that the FRSC has found a convenient way, to make money off Nigerians whom they know will definitely, I mean, there is no way, we know that people will definitely commit traffic offenses, and this is just a way to ensure that they make maximum profit out of them?
Permit me to state here without any fear of contradiction that the Federal Road Safety Commission is a federal government establishment. It is not a private company.
But does
that will go out to make profit.
Does that give them the power to be the judge right there, fine you, and make you pay? Because what people are trying to understand is when you are apprehended for any kind of act, there and there, you're fined. It's as if they are the judge, they are the witness, they are the jury, and they enforce everything right there on the spot. I'm sure you understand what some of the motorists, we're looking at complaints now. An FRSC official in Moe asked for, this was quite different. This one is saying they put the victim in a position of confusion, making them not be able to push further, being the judge and the jury right there on the spot.
You see, we are Nigerians here. Most Nigerians are highly educated. A few are not. But that does not mean that...
A lot of people will contest that. I beg to differ on that. That statement might not be a statement of fact. I mean,
let me conclude my statement.
Yes. And a few.
I'm just making a point.
That is a fact.
Well, I'm saying that most Nigerians are well educated.
Most.
Most.
That will be according to what figure, what population?
Well, but a good number of Nigerians are educated.
Perhaps you can go with that. Go ahead.
Yes, a good number of Nigerians are educated. The few that are not educated, an average motorist who plies the roads every now and then, and you know the commission has been established many years ago.
You feel,
And-
I still would contest that.
And
They
those-
are not educated. And then it also matters the type of education you're talking about, because the fact that you are, you've gone to school or you have some learning in terms of, having gone through secondary school or primary school doesn't necessarily mean, and you can drive and you have a driver's license, doesn't necessarily mean that
You know
I have studied the act enabling the FRSC.
You know the traffic rules.
And I know all the traffic rules, and I know what my rights are in respect to traffic rules. That doesn't really matter, does it follow?
Unfortunately, as we say in law, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
So in closing, very
let
quickly.
me make this point. Here we have a notice of fine issued to an individual. He is not compelled at that spot to pay the fine. I know that from experience, because at one point or the other I've had things to do as a road user with the Federal Road Safety Commission, even as a lawyer. You are not made to pay the fine.
Let me get this
we're
in
closing
quickly.
on
Are you
this.
then saying that you capitalize on the ignorance of many road users to make? I also contest the fact that you say it's a federal government agency and as such it's not how to make money. Federal government
Yes.
agencies raise revenue for government, and maybe they have a target that they're trying to meet, and such they capitalize on the ignorance of Nigerians to ensure that they make maximum profit for the
No,
government.
if for any reason the notice of fine is issued to an individual, and the individual in his heart of hearts feels that no, I have not committed this offense, one way or the other, before he pays the fine, he will get an answer to it. The issue of ignorance here, I just had to mention it because that is a conventional statement we make as lawyers.
Well, I'm afraid
before he pays,
we have to leave it there. Mr.
before he
Joseph.
pays, he
We're really out
one
of
way
time.
or the other seek for
We would like to
interpretation
thank you
or
so very
something.
much for finding time to join us. He's of the view that while the judgment doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be fined right there on the spot pending the appeal. Well, he's a legal practitioner, and he's been speaking with us on the powers of FRSC on traffic offences. Many thanks, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very
Time for
much,
us to go to our news studios this time, where Victor Matthias is standing by to give us an update on the news.